Hello everyone, and welcome to Orange University. On tonight's episode, I show you the most unfair deck on current standard Magic, and that is the Dimir Bounce. This deck is insane. I cannot stress how ludicrously strong it is, because your opponent can't really interact with your deck while you can interact with anything your opponent does. Because this deck is just full of bounce spells. We got the where is it? This town isn't big enough, or this town ain't big enough to bounce one of our permanent, one of our opponent's permanent, a non-land permanent that is. Or we have the Get Out, which will just bounce two of our own permanents if we want. And we also have the Fear of Isolation, which will be able to bounce a permanent as part of the casting cost, which, I mean, come on, that will already give us so much fuel. And what are we bouncing here? Well, we're bouncing Hopeless Nightmare. That's just a 1 mana 2 damage that makes our opponent discard a card. A lot of times people think Hopeless Nightmare is, you know, like a weak duress. You discard a card of your choice. That's sometimes good. Most of the time, it's barely anything in the opener. No, that's not the case. Because they also lose 2 life. If we're able to play Hopeless Nightmare, let's say, 10 times, our opponents just die. That's so powerful. But not only that, right? Of course, it's also card disadvantage for our opponent. And we also have the Stormchaser's talent, making a little otters. The otters are prowess, which means that whenever we bounce anything else, play the talent again, the prowess otter gets big, and you can see these deal a lot of damage. These are 1-drops that deal a lot of damage. We also have Nowhere to Run, which is a enchantment version removal. That makes our opponent cry, because whenever we play an enchantment, we buff our otter and we kill their creatures. And we also have Kaito, which bounces one of our attackers to allow us to play it again for ETB value, like the Floodpits Drowner or the Fear of Isolation. And while Kaito also gets us card advantage, Kaito can lock down an opponent's opposing creatures. It's got all kinds of stuff. And then to top it all off, we have Entity Tracker in the deck. Entity Tracker, 3 mana, flash speed 2/3 that has Eerie. Whenever enchantment enters, we draw a card. That's what the heck is this? Whenever enchantment enters, draw a card. It's an enchantress on a blue card, and guess what? It's flash speed, so we can play it on the end of turn 3. Turn 4, we play 2 of these. We draw a bunch of cards. Our opponent just kind of rage quits. That's the whole idea of the deck. Insanely powerful. So let's talk about the whole deck list card at a time. So, turn 1, we have 4 Spyglass Siren, 4 Stormchaser's Talon, 4 Hopeless Nightmare, so we'll have some turn 1 plays. And all 3 of these are things that we want to play on turn 1. So, nothing really going to hit badly as long as we're going to have a turn 1 play. Turn 2, we have 4 Fear of Isolation. We can bounce our Hopeless Nightmare or Stormchaser's Talon to get multiple value. We have 4 Floodpits Drowner. If our opponent is aggro, this will lock them down. And if they have a lot of pump spells on the one creature, that creature gets locked down. So that's something. And obviously, if they're attacking and pumping into an attacker, we can't use a Floodpits Drowner. We can use Nowhere to Run as well. That's a removal. And then we also have 3 Get Out. That's a counter spell that can double back as a bounce spell in our deck, which is beautiful. It serves both modes perfectly in the deck. But there's only 3 of because there's 2 blue pips. And then turn 3, we have 3 or 4 Entity Trackers, and also I would say 3 Kaito. We're never going to play Kaito with 4 mana, or at least we don't want to. What we want to do is play our 1-drop or our 2-drops and attack on turn 3 to cheat out a Kaito with ninjutsu. Don't forget, Kaito is a hex-proof creature. So after we cheat it out, Kaito can't be targeted until our opponent's next turn, which means that we can get our card draw, lock down a creature if they have it, or just make our ninjas big. And then finally, our not turn 5 play, this town ain't big enough. Let's look at turn 5 play. It's not. It's 2 mana play, right? If we target one of our permanent, it costs just 2. And we can target both of our permanent, it still only costs 2. So we can use this to target maybe one of our opponent's creature, one of our Nowhere to Run, and that's just kind of infinite removal in our deck. So you can see this whole deck kind of curves out to 3 mana, which is insane. That means we don't need that much lands either. We have 5 islands, 3 swamps, 4 Darkslick Shores, 4 Gloomlake Verge, 4 Underground River, and 2 Restless Reef. You can see, of all of our dual color lands, only 2 comes into play tapped. Every other land comes into play untapped, and we definitely need to capitalize on our early game tempo. There's actually no non-color land, right? There's no colorless lands. There's no Field of Ruins, Demolition Fields. There is no Fountain Port. There's none of that. It would just aggressively push our cards and then win that way. And we cannot afford any colorless lands because every single card we play really requires either a blue or a black pip very early on in the game. So that's why this is the land base for the deck. There's only, I think, 22 lands in it. Only 22 lands in the deck. That's all we need. And we can aggressively push. And that's pretty much all there is. Very strong deck. I don't think we will drop any game today. Let's go and see the games. Alright, our opponent is Mr. Anderson. But there's 556. So, there's a lot of Andersons. Go first with a Chaser. Alright. Go first with Chaser. Don't have any black mana. Gotta ping myself, but... Hey, with this deck, you know, sometimes it's good enough. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Stormchaser's Talon. Get a little Audible out. Too many 3-drops in our hand. They are red. They are Swift. They're getting Swifty, alright? We'll see what they want to do. Hammerheart Challenger. Double attack is going to be bad for them. I'll block here. Nowhere to run. Challenger. I mean, do you know how prowess works? I sure do. Alright, do we attack here, though? Am I blocking? I'm not blocking, right? Show him at this town. Do you want a buff? Monsters Rage. Alright, let's see what they get. They do get a land. It's not fun, but... nowhere to run, out of the way. Alright, that card goes away. So, I could put an Entity Tracker, but it's just so much more fun to put a Stormchaser's Talon out there. Is it, though? Is it better to get a Kaito? I can't really tap his creature, right? The Entity Tracker is... I also have a Counterspell. So if I have a Counterspell, maybe I just play this. We'll get our damage in. Alright, do we counter this? He can buff it. Do I care about this? No. I'm more afraid of the Manifold Mouse than the Challenger. So if it's just a Challenger, I'll take it. See? I was more afraid of the Manifold Mouse. Now I target a creature or enchantment spell. Would you still like to attack? No attacks, huh? Alright, Floodpits Drowner is pretty useful. If I attack, would he just block? He didn't block him.
Watch closely. You ha! I love a dramatic entrance.
Tap it.
You're not going anywhere.
I guess he can have a Charger, right? If he has a Charger, he has a Charger. You know, it's not fun, but he can. It's not gonna kill Kaito by itself. Do you have a burn spell? He has something. Alright. That was everything, and now he has nothing.
I'm definitely lost.
So, what do we do with 4 mana? It's 2 mana plays, so let's go. Nowhere to run, that will buff. our little guy here. Little otter ball. Do you have another creature to play? So, oh god. That's a creature you can play. Tap it down, shall we? I don't want to see that. I could level up, right? I could level up. I guess I level up. Get it this town. Get some chumps. I should have attacked. It's vigilance. Why didn't I attack? I thought I was at 11. He's at 11. I'm at 17. Manifold Mouse. Oh boy. That's a double strike and a trample. This is what happens when I give him a turn to do stuff. Have to take it. Oh man, okay. I mean, this takes out two things, right? I can bounce the Manifold Mouse. No. I'm gonna have to bounce. I don't actually draw anything like this. So I have to bounce on his turn. Well, that's not great. So I'm probably bouncing and nowhere to run, right? So I'm not playing the Hopeless Nightmare. And I can use this. Alright, you get the buffs. It doesn't get more buffs, so it's going to target each other. For the double strikes, that's interesting. Alright, so those are all double strikes. We'll pass the block. Block like that. Do they have interactions? Would they like to have interactions? They really only have one interaction left, right? There's a Monster's Rage. So I have to... So I can't use this even. So that means that I have to bounce. Probably the... Nowhere to Run and this Manifold Mouse. No. This Screaming Nemesis. Monster's Rage makes it so it's 4. No, that's too much. Kill that. Place the higher claw. draw another land. So I could track her. Or I can level up, right? Okay, definitely Hopeless Nightmare. Do I track her though? I think I track her. So let's see if I track her. This will stay a 1-1, which can't really block anything here. And all of his creatures are gonna get bigger, so maybe I just level. I could draw a card. That's about all I can do here. Will anything I draw here matter? Oh, well. I guess I was wrong in saying that nothing I draw here will matter. I'll hold back. He's probably gonna pump for double strike trample. I'm almost there. Need one more mana to actually get there. Alright, they're both gonna be double strike, but they're not gonna be both trample, and he tap himself out, so. Double strike and double strike. Does not deal any damage. Does attack with the higher claw. Also wrong, so let's get our free trade. Kill the higher claw. He's got a land. This is his last card. Yep. Alright, fear. Fear is great. With the fear of isolation, return nowhere to run. Can I draw a land though? That's going to be important, right? I don't draw a land. So, it is what it is. Since I don't draw a land, I don't have anything else to do with the third mana. So let us Spyglass Siren. Now we got all the blockers in the world. You can try to give him double strikes again, if you want to do that. We need you to kill the real Manifold Mouse, not the token, because the token we can bounce. You got it. We'll block. Let's block this way. He's more incentivized to pump the real Manifold Mouse. If he has anything. I mean, nowhere to run will get it anyway, so come at me, bro. You see about to come at me, bro? Oh, okay. Kill that, obviously. Huh. Another nowhere is fun. I mean, I could fear into nowhere, but I think nowhere into a counterspell is just lethal. So let's do that. I could draw a land, right? That's the only thing. Draw land? Oh, tap land. Challenger is probably like the worst thing for me because he can definitely bounce things. Or not bounce things, buff things. and get an extra card so we can stop that from happening. Level 2. Level 2 is where we get a discount. Let's go all in. That's about as GG as we can get. Alright, what's your last card? Is it 1 mana does 10 damage? Because if it's not that, you're out. How much do I care about? You know what? I do care. I bounce my Tractor, bounce my Hopeless Nightmare. I don't want my Tractor to die. You get nothing. GG! Get the F out. Alright, our opponent is the Hesoidal? I don't know, that's too many vowels. You go first. I mean, it's a good go first, but I don't have the talent. In more ways than one, I don't have the talent. Alright. I want to play Nightmare turn 1, so I have something on board. Just give me a hat and you can discard something. Is it Reanimator deck? No. Mountain. Why you give me a hat? You play a mountain in your deck. Alright, he's not playing anything. That means Spyglass Siren can do her thing. His thing? I don't know. I think that's a lady. It's a siren, right? Sirens are all girls. Now, Entity Tracker is gonna be big. You can kill it before Kaito? Didn't kill it before Kaito. Oh boy. Rebrass Forge. I mean, I can't really counter it, so we'll just block it. Entity Tracker into a block. Do I play this land? I do, right? Okay, let's see. What am I doing here? I'm gonna discount the Nightmare and the Forge. I'm gonna play the Nightmare and draw a card. You discard a card, I draw a card. You discard the land, I get a nowhere to run. I mean, if his Forge wants to attack me, I'll do the trade. Should have used the map token though. That is fine with me. Can I draw another land? I do draw another land. That opens a world of possibilities. We'll do it again. I draw another card, they discard a card, and they go down to 10. I mean, if I had used the map, I would have gotten another land anyway. Stormchaser's Talons. Not too late, but I definitely don't want to play it right now. Holding up a counterspell is also fun. Caretaker's Talent? They have green in their deck, so I'm confused. Lightning Helix? Okay. I shall return my Tracker and my Nightmare. There you go. You get nothing. Do we Stormchaser's Talent here? Actually, we Nightmare, Bounce Nightmare, Nightmare again. Oh, that's a lot of damage. But I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Not right now. I have a discount, right? I think I want to get a discount. Isn't this just the most annoying deck in the world? How you plan on fighting us? You definitely don't want to play a Forge. The Otter will kill you. You better fight the Otter. No, that's not it. Alright, here's a Nightmare. Here's a Fear. Here's a Nightmare again. Yeah, that's right. You are way too slow. This deck is just ludicrous. In its tempo, just everything our opponent plays just gets bounced. GG. Alright, our opponent is the Mabuku. What does Mabuku reminds me of? I don't know, but we go first. Alright, we got Nightmare going first. This town, which is okay. Without talent, this town is just marginally good. But still, not bad. We got a Nightmare going first, I like it. I'm not gonna Kaito turn 2, so oh look at Elba's Nightmare immediately quit. Expected. This deck is that good. Alright, our opponent is Muzungu. Muzungu? We go first with the talent. Oh boy, we're gonna get talented. We're gonna get talented up in here. Obviously, it's not perfect yet. He's got a Teething Wormlet. I would say that this is a good card to draw. Don't think I need to get rid of the Wormlet just yet. I might have a little bit of time. Also, I'm templing the hell out of him. So if I draw an enchantment, I might just know where to run his Wormlet. Drop Cookie. Right? Yeah, right? I think I just... Do I track her? No. Don't think he's gonna block. Maybe it just looks like a Kaito turn. 3 mana is Kaito. Alright, he's got no attacks. I still will bother. Wormlet grows, Tough Cookie doesn't. So put one on the Siren. I have a land for next turn. So next turn is Fear and nowhere to run it. Soul Cold. Yikes. And a Ginger Brew. Alright, there's a combo deck. There's a combo of brew. I mean, there's a lot of trackers. Not gonna lie here. But it's not as good as doing what I'm about to do to him. Do I just Fear and nowhere to run? I still... 2 talents and no artifacts or no instants or sorceries are very annoying. But it is a lot of damage. Do I hold back and just play the entity tracker? That way I draw a lot of cards. I still think so, right? It's not off by 1 turn. Do I want to let him have that turn? It's green, so what can he do here? I mean, I have a lot of bounce spells, so I don't really care if the cookie gets too big. Or the Soul Cauldron get too big for that matter. I really need the entity tracker to do its thing. Lost Jite, whoa, okay. This is whenever it deals combat damage, put a charge counter. So that's his deal. Really? Entity tracker. Go fear. He didn't use his cheat. I'm not blocking with it. What if he has interaction spell, right? Yeah, this is fine. Really? Well, he can't protect both, so let's see what his plan is. Also, this gets underneath any protection spell. He sacks it, and I also get rid of his cookie. Oh, okay, so he does that, so his cookie doesn't die. That's smart, I didn't think about that. But nowhere to run is, you know, now he's got nowhere to run. Do we Kaito? I think I Kaito here. That way I can tap down the cookie. Okay. Where does that block go? This is until the end of turn, right? He blocks those two. There's no creature in the graveyard. I could know where to run the tough cookie, see what he reacts with. I tap down the cookie. Does he react with anything? I mean, protection spell does not protect, so he needs to buff it by. Okay, he just sacks. Now we Kaito back. This, right? I don't need to bring back the fear. I have a fear, so. Oh, this blocked. Unblocked. Learn to play the game.
Did I scare you?
Alright, is Surveil 2 and draw a card, or do we get a +1 emblem? Don't need to tap this. It becomes a. Let's see. It turns back into a token, I think, at the end of turn. Yeah, until the end of turn. So. You can turn it back into a creature, I guess, but no. I still think I Surveil 2 and draw a card.
Well, your secrets didn't stay hidden for long.
Actually, do I want the Spyglass Iron? The Spyglass isn't too bad. I can play it right now. More creatures on board. How are we gonna fight this Kaito? Kaito does not fight fair. He can have a Mishras, okay, Ginger Brute. He can make it unblockable. But, it's a lot of stuff he wants to do just to kill Kaito. I'm not getting any of my bounce spells. So honestly, just one bounce spell I can get rid of that Cauldron. And everything works in. What did he do? Oh, just make it unblockable? Sure. That is gonna be 1 damage to Kaito.
This is not how I die!
Eh. There's a lot of ways you can die. Fear. I draw. Alright. Yeah, GG. I don't think you can beat this with the amount of tempo, even though I have no bounce spells whatsoever. Okay, our opponent is Andres Havoc. Alright, Andres Havoc, we're going first with Spyglass Sirens. I mean, it's okay, right? It's not bad. Nowhere to run and bounce spells is always good. I just need more lands. There are 22 lands in the deck, so sometimes we get nasty. Okay, it's one playing. Do we care about one playing here? I can kind of weave in and out the 2-mana plays, but I can also hold up a counter spell. It's just not a lot of tempo if I do that, so I'm not doing that. This is not the one, right? This play, you're gonna play this turn. It doesn't matter. It was a land. That was specifying. Mono white control is interesting. What's more interesting is I have a lot of nothing here. Do they have another smite? If they have another smite, what do I do? Fear. Is fear good? I don't think so. Not right now. Probably just get smited again anyways. Yep. Maybe I'll get a Kaito. I mean, yeah, obviously. Can I get a Kaito, please? Oh, on the man. Okay. I can surveil too, but I can't draw, right? I still think I surveil too.
Just in time to save the day.
Oh, thank God I surveilled too.
Information is its own weapon.
Information is its own weapon. And the weapon is apparently just land stop deck. Overlord of the Mistmoors. Alright. So this is gonna be some difficult matchups, so we're gonna have to remove everything he has. Floodpits Drowner. Nowhere to run on this guy, and now I can attack through. Now I surveil 2. Those are all cards I want in my hand.
Sharp as my sword.
Yeah, those are all cards I want in my hand. All right. What's your 5-mana play? They need to have a get lost for Kaito. And the entity trackers are going to draw me so many cards. I will overpower them. There's a get loss. I can see them targeting Kaito. It's either that they're reading, but no. 5 mana. Maybe it's the what's that called again? The 5 mana spell that brings the thing from the graveyard. Not doing it. Parting Gus. He's gonna give me a fish. I mean, I still do the damage. So let's see. Surveil 2. Another
now
Kaito.
I know your weakness.
I mean, he's been having issue fighting this Kaito. The second Kaito couldn't hurt. And just having 1/2/1s, it's going to be difficult for him to fight through what I have. Oh, a Hive. You're going to feel bad about that. Alright. They didn't have a removal for Kaito. So I don't think they're gonna have removal for the 2 entity trackers that I will have. Blocks Kaito, okay. Let's surveil. Gee.
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
Jesus. I draw a card, right? Is there a card that matters here? Or do I just want a Gloomlake Verge so I have another land? No. I have enough lands. Floodpits Drowner. You have your 1/1. It's gonna kill you. Sunfall. Okay. Well, that's annoying. So I'm gonna have to bounce. I guess my nowhere to run. And I will bounce his Overlord, make him replay it, or it's gonna come back out, right? I want to be able to draw 2 cards. I want to be able to draw 2 cards. This town again. Bounce both my trackers. Those are useful cards. I don't want them not. Here, you can have a 1/1. Aha! GG. Mono Y's no match for this deck. Honestly, like, just embarrassingly weak against this deck. Which, I mean, most decks can't beat it. Alright, our opponent is Johnny. Silverfist? Is that the one from Cyberpunk? I don't remember, but we go first. No 1-drops. That's painful. Go first is great, but no 1-drop is painful. So we got a little bit of counterspell. Let's see if we can leverage this slower kind of play. We start with the tap land, because I have nothing to play. Alright. Oh man, now I have something to play, but I don't want to play. Oh, almost lost my chance for a counterspell. No place. No place, Drowner. Alright, do we attack first? What can he have? It's Vigilance. Now I Nightmare him. Scar card, please. Oculus deck, huh? Okay. Well, it's about to be a tough matchup for me, honestly, with an Oculus deck. But we just got to make sure to stop his reanimation spells. Opt. You opt for some big plays. Here comes the reanimation. No? Huh. Okay, well, I honestly thought he was going to reanimate something on me. So, I'm playing the 4th land anyways, right? No reason not to. So now play the Fear. Maybe he counters the Fear, but it still gets the Nightmare back to my hand. He's gonna mill some more cards. I'm sure he's gonna mill some more cards. It's 1 card, still a mill. Moment of truth. Okay, so there's gonna be some reanimation spells. Helping Hand. Probably a counter spell somewhere. Holding up 2 blue mana. It's this town, the Oculus, and our Fear. Let's see if he counters this. He didn't counter it. Alright. Now I can't really counter his next play. So this attack, it might just get bounced. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a lot of damage. So I'm gonna play the Nightmare. I want him to hardcast the Oculus, right? That's how I get it. Now he discards the Oculus, and he does have another reanimation spell. That's gonna feel bad. Okay. Will Fear. Return a Nightmare. Clock Prankster. I could burn him with a Nightmare, honestly. Like, I didn't really see it coming, but this is 2 damage. Then Get Out brings us Fear and Nightmare back. This is 4 damage. And then the Fear will make it 8 damage. So, as long as I can hit him for 2, he will die. Alright, he's recommissioning Kaito. Okay, that's giving me so much fume here. Okay, I think that's game. For him, not for me. I think we can kill. That's what I'm saying. I'm not doing anything here, right? I'm not bouncing the Fear because I can attack through. Oh boy. Well, here is... Do we just do this to bounce the Fear and the Nightmare? There we go. GG. He can see the hopeless Nightmare is getting to him. And it's getting hopeless for him. Welcome back, everyone. Now that you see all of those bouncy games, how does this deck feel? I love it. I mean, I love it because it's strong. But I also hate it because at any point I face against this deck, I just really want to rage quit. And the problem with a deck like this is that it's unbeatable on best of 1, right? Well, there is no deck currently that I think hard techs against this. Unlike mono red, it's very easy to tech against mono red. It's just not very fun. But against this deck, there's no way to tech, right? There's nothing you can do to kill these spells because, well, your opponent, I mean, these spells just gets bounced, or these cards just get bounced, and you don't really want to counter, you know, a Spyglass Siren or a Stormchaser's Talon. You don't want to play a game where you're countering 1-drops. So there's really not much things you can do to fight this deck. I guess if you are very used to fighting a deck like this, you have to watch out for the Entity Tracker on turn 3. But of course, that also means that you have to watch out for Kaito on turn 3. And both of those can blow you out of the water, so you can't be too careful on what to do or what to kill. And yeah, it's just, this deck is insane. I do have to mention, though, of all the games I played today, I did drop 1 game, and the 1 game I dropped is because I drew, I think, 8 lands out of, I think, 11 cards. So I kept an opener that had 3 lands, and then I just, all I draw was lands, so I was not able to win that game, which, you know, those games do happen. Very rarely, because there's only 22 lands in a deck. Every other game is insanely one-sided. As you saw, all those games are all one-sided for this deck. It's just so powerful, so pushed. I don't know if this deserves a ban, but if I was consulting with wizards, I would tell them to take a strong, hard look at this deck. Because right now in Standard, I don't think there is any way to beat this deck. Well, you can prove me wrong, right? I think this deck is way better than the Esper Pixie deck, just because it, all Dimir. There is no color screw. We never got color screw once, and we never have to worry about color screw because there's only 2 colors, and all the cards that we play basically blue, except for the Hopeless Nightmare and Nowhere to Run and the Kaito, so we can have a little less black mana. And yeah, we don't even have that many counter spells. It's just Get Out, and Get Out is not really that good of a counter spell, but it does the job when you need it to counter, but it does so much better when it bounces 2 creatures or enchantments, and the enchantments can draw so many cards with Entity Tracker. And yeah, no way to fight this deck. It's just so powerful. And that's really all I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.